Damo, we have a guest in the studio who's in his black tie because he's getting ready for the red carpet tonight
Yes.
at the opening gala of the Melbourne International Film Festival. He's starring in a great new Australian film called Force of Destiny. And David Stratton said about this man, he gives an exceptional performance. Will you please welcome one of our stars of Australian film, David Wenham?
Oh, Dave, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you both. Good to be here.
Bit early to be dressed, I would have thought. Don't you ever,
Well, a round of interviews with people like yourself, so I have to dress early.
Yeah, get ready. Now, a great review from this film, both the film and your performance from David Stratton. Are you much of a review watcher in your life? Because I know... for me doing stand-up comedy, I try to tell people that I don't read reviews, but I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I sort of do, but I don't really pay much attention to them because if you believe the good ones, you believe the bad ones. Case in point.
Yeah.
I will talk about it anyhow because we're in Melbourne. This doesn't go to Sydney, does it?
Yeah, just
Okay.
Melbourne. Just Melbourne.
Last week, I read a review for a dance piece in Sydney. The only piece I've ever seen with a 5-star review for this particular thing. So I thought I have to go and see it,
Yeah.
and I did. And and I don't know where the 5 stars came from, but they were severely generous. It's like, well, 5 stars, you just think that should be flawless, but I tell you what, I would have given it a half a star. So I think,
Do you
yeah,
think someone was taken to dinner before they saw the performance?
I think something must have changed hands.
Hilarious. Now, this film, Force of Destiny, you play somebody with liver cancer. How did you prepare for that role? Because, I mean, everyone's had friends with cancer. It's a horrific experience, so it would have been a hard one to get into character, I would imagine.
Yes. The film itself is, it's sort of... The director would say it isn't, but it is. It's based on wonderful director Paul Cox, who I've worked with before. He was diagnosed with liver cancer, and he was, given not very long to live at all. And he ended up on Christmas Day, actually, 5 years ago, receiving a call that a liver had come through. And so the film is essentially, it has been inspired by Paul's journey. And it's the story of somebody who is given essentially a death sentence. They're told that they've got not long to live at all, but at the same time, at that moment in time, they meet somebody that they feel as though they were destined to spend the rest of their life with.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't it when you're filming this, because we know obviously the film is going to be emotional, but when you're making it, there are cameras everywhere and crew, is it still a deeply emotional experience for everyone involved while you're making it?
I think it was, especially for Paul, because we shot a lot of the film at the hospital where Paul has spent an enormous amount of time at the Austin Hospital, and with people involved. The surgeon that performed Paul's operation is actually in the film. Some of the staff from that hospital are in the film. So for Paul going there and reliving the experience, I think was rather.
The worry is, David,
Yes.
with thinking you've got a limited time, thinking you found the person forever. What happens if you end up having a long time and they're not the person? Do you know what I mean? I think you could make the wrong decision because you're going to die. I'm wondering.
Possibly. This was also, the love story within the film was also inspired by what actually did happen to Paul. In a post-operative sessions, they have, social work sessions and whatever, and Paul met the person who he is still with now, five years later. And it truly is, Rosie, truly is the love of his life. And it's like, an incredible couple, the two of them.
That is,
and she's also a liver transplant recipient herself.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's, it's a story that's begging to be told.
Yeah.
Is he, sometimes if you're very close to a story, you can't see how great the story is. Did he look at his own story and say, this has to be told? Or was it only upon sharing it that people went, man, you've got to tell this story?
I think it was a bit of both. I think he saw he wanted to tell the story because he wanted to actually put organ transplantation out there because I think at that hospital, there's more than 1,000 people still on a waiting list, and many of those people will die. And we have one of the, I think, I might be pulling this out of the air, but I think we have one of the lower levels of organ donation in the world.
Yeah.
And, most of us think that if you tick that little box on your license, you are an organ donor. Well, in fact, you're not. You actually have to, if somebody contests that after you die, a member of the family, you're not an organ donor.
I think everyone should be an organ donor unless they specify not to be. That's my
I think, I agree with you. And a lot of places around the world actually do have that in place. So.
Spain has the opt-out system, and as a result, a lot more lives are saved because a lot more organs are made available.
Yeah.
Now, David, I want to ask you a personal question.
Oh, here we go.
Would you consider yourself a ranger? The reason I
could
ask,
be. Well, yeah. Well, I was born a Ranger. Yeah.
well,
yeah.
I have a Ranger son. That's why I'm interested. And I think redheaded people are very, very special. Not just because but I've just become fascinated by redheads. Now you're sort of less red now.
Well, look, if they're special, yes, I'm a Ranger.
Yes.
Do you have secret meetings? Is there a club?
Because you're dying out, you know.
Well, I can't tell you.
Of course.
Yeah, but we do meet.
You need to do a film about that because apparently Rangers are a dying species. Did you know that?
Apparently.
So perhaps get all the Rangers we know in Hollywood and Australian
And
film
get them
together and do a film about that.
Who else is there?
There's Nicole Kidman.
Well, there's Nicole.
Kidman. Well, Ed Sheeran, you can get him into the
Ed
music.
Sheeran, yeah. He'd be good.
Tom Gleeson can do the comedy that's
Right,
required.
okay.
See, there's lots
a
of
few.
them.
Oh, there we go.
Julianne Moore.
If you need a commentator, Cameron Ling can come here.
Lingy.
There we
And
go.
my son can play the young one.
Oh, we've got it made.
All right, so I'm just thinking it's an
it's a
idea
hit.
for your next film. Have you got any other plans?
No, that's it. That's yeah.
It's coming
That's
together
gonna take me a
beautifully.
while, yeah.
And before we let you go, what's happening next?
I've just finished 3 films, actually. I did a small independent film called Pirates of the Caribbean.
Haven't heard of it.
How is
no.
Pistol and Boo Boo, whatever your name is?
Well, they're not on our shores. They're not on our shores spreading disease. They're off our shores.
Right, okay, very good. Well, Barnaby Joyce will be happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
no, it's all good.
So you've done that little
I did
independent.
the one.
Yeah.
Then I did.
How is Johnny on set? Because we see two sides of Johnny Depp from the media. One is the pistol and boo smuggler. And the other one is this bloke who's visiting hospitals and spending time with the local people and just being generally a good bloke.
And he is. He's both of those. He's a very, very funny man, and he also is extremely generous with his time with people. You know, as you say, visit hospitals.
Do you do a pirate role? Are you a pirate?
I can't tell you, except I can tell you my character's name is Scarfield.
All right.
So
Can you just give us an hour?
No, I can't. I can, but I won't.
It's a good course. So sorry, that one and the other.
Okay, the other two is a film that'll be out next year, which I think it will garner a heap of attention. A film called Lion, which you may or may not have heard of. It's the true story of a guy called Saru Briley, who at the age of 4 in India got lost on a train station, and then went on a train. Thought his brother was on the train left and whatever, and then he got stranded in the middle of India. Ended up as a street kid. He was taken in by the authorities, and then he was adopted by an Australian family here in Tasmania. Grew up here in Australia, and then at the age of 20. Some fellow Indian Australians asked him where he was from, and he had just very vague geographical recollections of what his little village was like. He remembered things like a rain tower and whatever, and he started searching on Google Earth.
Wow.
And spent 2 years of his life searching Google Earth, and eventually came across one little thing that he thought he may have remembered from the age of 4.
Yeah.
He flew over to India, went to that particular place, and to cut a long story short, he found his birth
That
mother.
is unbelievable.
Wow.
It's an
From Google Earth.
From
That's
Google Earth. It's an
incredible.
amazing story, and it's directed by somebody who I think is is a seriously talented guy called Garth Davies, who lives in Melbourne. Dev Patel plays the boy who's grown up from Slumdog Millionaire. Nicole Kidman plays the adopted mother. I play the adopted father. It's a great film.
Wow.
And the other film I did was a film called Goldstone, which is an Ivan Sen film. Extremely talented filmmaker, and that's a follow-up to Mystery Road.
So you haven't got time for the redhead film?
Well,
I know he's done it with Nicole Kidman. They're a married couple down in Tasmania.
There you go, tick that box. But Cameron Linger's not in that film.
Oh, bugger.
Oh, all right, fingers crossed for next time round. It is opening night tonight of the Melbourne International Film Festival. The opening night film is Force of Destiny, starring David Wenham. You might be able to get a ticket at the door, but check the Arts Centre website if you want to get along there tonight. It's out with general release in September. David Wenham, thank you.
Yay.
Very good.